This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, so Nitish has already introduced me to you, so I would directly proceed with the contents of the demo. So first of all, why should we learn Python? So we've already discussed that, but let me reiterate that Python is a very simple and easy to learn language. It is like just like English. So whenever you're working with a Python language, you don't really have to worry about the syntax and how you need to write it, but mostly about the logic which you're trying to write about. So the worrying part is reduced. So instead of any other language where you would have to worry about the syntax and how you need to write the code, here you would simply uh, create the logic and then work upon that. Then secondly, the thing is that with Python, you can use it with any other language. So if you want to work with Python and let's say incorporate some C code, you can do that. You can merge it with C application or Java application. So all those things are also possible. Then along with Python, you get a lot of libraries and a lot of online support is available in case of Python. So that also helps a lot because like we have a few freshers here also, right? Like uh, people who don't really know how to code. In the beginning they would need some online support. So based on that, there is a lot of support available online, and there is extensively a lot of libraries are already pre-existing, so you can directly use functions from those libraries while you're working with Python. Secondly, the thing is that Python is a very popular language. You would have already learned that when we are talking about any other language, it is somehow at par with the latest technology, and like you can use Python in many ways. So we have Python being used in data science, in data analytics, in AI. We use it in gaming. We use it in automation. So a lot of platforms are supporting Python, and there is a lot of scope in Python. So let's say after 2 or 3 years you feel like you don't really want to work in testing, let's say, or you want to move towards some other domain. So at that point also, Python is a language which you would already be strong upon. So you can learn a little further and you can move towards data science, let's say. So at that point also, Python is very useful. So here are a few places where Python is used. So we already know in web development, Python is very useful. Then we have data science and visualization. So we have NumPy, Pandas, Matplotlib. In machine learning, we are using it in mobile application, desktop applications, in Um, as a first language, again, Python is very useful and application development. So during this course, what we would be doing is we would be learning Python, and we would be taking up some let's say some packages or some modules which would help you to create a little base for let's say data science, machine learning, and automation. So you will be getting a little idea about these packages as well, so that let's say in future if you want to move towards data science, or you want to move towards data analytics, or let's say even if you're working with some data in your automation as well, then also it would be helpful to know such packages like NumPy and Pandas. And we would be taking up visualization as well, a little bit of it, so that like you would be able to create visualizations also and analyze data as well. We would be taking up, let me show you the entire course plan here. So this is the entire course plan which I have created for specifically for the automation perspective. So we would be running through the Python basics, and then we would be going over NumPy, Pandas, and numerical and visual analysis. These three packages would enable you to move towards data analytics anytime. Then we would be learning about sys, OS module, then file processing and regular expression. These are and web scraping again. These are very important modules which would enable you for automation a lot, because while we are doing automation, while we are working in automation world, we would need to interact with different applications. We would need to interact with web-based applications, or we would need to interact with different files and generate files and read from files. And then again, it would have to be uh, independent of the operating system which you're working on. So all of these would be helpful when you're working on that. And in between, we would be taking up certain projects. So initially we would work on a small project which would help to create some confidence, so that you will know that you can easily code in Python. And then we will work on automation related project which would give you a good idea of how we do automation using Python, and how, what all libraries or what all things we will use it, and how we structure it basically. Now, let me show you some of the advantages of Python that we have. So here you can see that the programs which are written in Python are typically shorter than the equivalent C, C++, or Java programs, because Python allows us to create very concise code. And secondly, high level data types are allowed, and defining complex operations in a single statement. So basically, a piece of code, let's say if I have a code which I can write in, let's say 10 or 12 lines in Java, it will take, let's say, just 1 or 2 lines in Python. So I can create a smaller piece of code. Then talking about statement grouping. So when we talk about Java or C++ or C sharp, we used to have those braces and semicolons, which used to create a lot of trouble. Like if you miss a single semicolon, there would be a lot of errors of you, or if you miss a single bracket, you will be completely lost in finding which, where your code is ending, where it is starting, and like you, it will be a big trouble. Like there are different errors which arrive out of that. So those things don't really happen here because we have indentation. So we simply use a little indentation to define our code. Then again, Python doesn't really have any variable or argument declaration. You can just straight away start typing your code, and you don't really need to define if X is a string or if it is a integer, like if it is a number or a string. So it will automatically understand and work upon that. So you don't really need to bother about those things. here you can see on Stack Overflow, this is the trend for Python. So that is the number of questions being posted and being answered over Stack Overflow. Here you can,
Mansi, I'm sorry to interrupt. So, Sridhar, it is you who has joined again.
Yes, Nitish. Yeah, I just joined
Okay,
again.
okay, okay, okay.
Sorry.
Thank you. SM, I have just pinged you individual. Please just share your number. Yeah, Mansi, please go ahead. And guys, please ask question if you have any doubt. Anjul, Sridhar, uh, Khan, Kubra, Mohsin, Raj, Robin, SM, right?
Yeah, sure. Thank
Yeah,
you.
yeah.
Yep.
Thank you.
okay. So here you can see another trend like how much the different languages are in demand. So we can see that Python is rising and it is going to rise in future as well. So let me straight away go to uh, the codes which I wanted to show you. So this is one of the project which we would be making. So this is the first project basically which we would be making, which would be a tic-tac-toe project. So you all know tic-tac-toe is the game. So just showing you a little bit about it. So here is the board which you will be creating, and you can simply enter a number, and based on that, it will update the board, and it is asking for the next player each time. And it will show who has won the game. So you will be the people who would be creating this entire game as part of your project. This will be your first project which you will be building. And as we move ahead, we will be taking up two more projects, and those would be automation related projects. And internally, we would also work on numerical and visual analysis. So we will be taking up data which would be uh, around, let's say, uh, here I have a data with 45,000 rows. So analyzing this entire data and creating summaries out of this data. So all of these things we will be learning during the course. And we would be working on different visualizations as well, like how to create different visuals using Matplotlib and Seaborn library. So that would again enable you, like when we would talk about numerical and visual summary, numerical analysis would help you uh, with analyzing the data. So we will be using NumPy and Pandas as the basics for numerical analysis, so that you have any kind of numerical data which you want to analyze, that you can do using these. And in case you want to move towards data analytics in future, somehow you get a thought that maybe I could try that as well, then also this would act as a great base for that. Then we would be working on web scraping also. So we will be learning how to get data from different files or different websites, and how to use that data, how to structure the entire data. Like here, I'm getting some data from Google and structuring the data.
So Manasi, Sridhar here.
Yeah.
Just one quick question. So now, see, from in this group, maybe there are different people from the different backgrounds and years of experience, right? So just
Yes.
want to understand. So what are the prerequisites for the Python, to learning of a Python? Because why I'm asking this question is that because now um I have about 12 years of experience as now I'm currently as a project manager. So for me, it's been now about 5 to 6 years having a technical coding and everything. So just
Mm.
to start with the Python and to have improve my knowledge in the Python. So what are the prerequisites? Because if I understand correct, right? So this would require at least some statistics background, some kind of background which would be helpful more to deep dive in Python, which I think. So what is your that would be helpful. So if you give some inputs on that.
Sure. So when we talk about Python, so for learning Python, there I would not say there would be any kind of prerequisite. Maybe a little bit of coding experience would have been better, or maybe a little bit of experience of loops or something would have been better. But still, because we would be starting from the very scratch and very starting of it, there would not be any kind of prerequisite. When we talk about different domains which we can get into, or different paths which we could take in the Python, like we would need statistics if we were to go into data analytics. If we were to go into machine learning, we would need some statistics and some mathematical knowledge. So it completely depends what you are trying to get into. So if you want to, when we are talking about numerical and visual analysis, in case there is some kind of statistics required, then I would be covering that. But for from the automation perspective, there would not be any prerequisite which I would define. I will be taking up everything from the very scratch. So even if the person has some knowledge, then it would be easier for them to learn. And if someone does not have any kind of coding knowledge, then also we would be working in such a way that they would be able to learn it very easily, because the number of hands-on exercises which we would be doing would be extensive, and it will be very easy to go with the flow.
Okay. So you will be covering more maximum on the automation perspective, right?
Yeah, I will be taking up it mostly on the automation perspective, because most of the people who I see here are from automation background and they want to learn it from the automation perspective. But uh, what I feel is like, if some of you want to get a little bit of knowledge about uh, let's say data analysis or something, if you guys are interested, then we could take, let's say, one or two introductory sessions, so that you could get some knowledge about numerical and visual analysis, numpy, pandas, all those things, which would enable you to move towards different paths as well.
Okay. Yeah, thanks.
Okay, so here we're basically using Beautiful Soap API to get data, and this is a Twitter API which we can use to get data uh, out of the web. Then when we talk about text mining, here you can see I basically had a lot of data about crude oil and money. So I can create word cloud out of that. So these are a few things which we can do using web scraping, text mining, and these are a few things which we would be covering a little bit in case you are interested in these. So coming to let's say the comparison between Java and Python. Here you can see this is a simple code for Java. So here, when we were talking about simplicity, so here we have these brackets, semicolons, and we have to define that this is an integer array, and we have to define that something is a string. Those kind of things are not really present in Python, and the coding perspective, it is very simple. So here I've written this piece of code in 24 lines, you can see, and I could have written the same code in Python in just 2 lines. And it is very simple to understand if you try to decode this particular piece of code. So I'm just simply running over different values of x, which are ranging in 10. This would basically go from 0 to 9. Then another, I'm again looping upon values of y, which have been picked from these three values, 110,000. And I'm simply putting an if condition, that if x is divisible by 2, then give me x into y, else give me a negative x. So here, this is very simple to read if you want to understand any piece of code. So this is something which I wanted to show you. Further, these are different paths which are available. You can get into web development, automation, you can get into data analytics, machine learning, artificial intelligence, gaming. So these are different things which you can do using Python. So because you guys are interested in automation, so we will be focusing largely on automation. We would be covering different libraries, different modules, and different aspects which would help you to work on automation. And we will be working on different kind of scripts which would be very useful. Here is a list of different tech giants which are using Python as their base, like Dropbox, Instagram, Netflix, Spotify, Reddit, Facebook, Google, YouTube. So all of these are using either completely Python as a base or partially. And this is the course structure which we have. So in case you have any kind of questions, then you can ask me. And here, these are the key takeaways which we have from this entire course. So we will be having regular topic-based assignments. So after every class, we will be having different assignments which you can practice. Then we would have a in-depth coverage of each topic, and using this entire course, you will be able to move towards data analytics, data science, web development, or automation. Wherever you want to go, all the gates would be open for you, and you will be learning NumPy, pandas, numerical and visual analysis, web scraping, and different many other modules. And this is good for even beginners who are just beginning to start with a specific language and starting to learn their first language. And it is good for someone who already has some coding experience. So that's it from my side. In case you have any kind of questions, any kind of confusions, or if you want to know what we would be learning, how we would be learning, then I can answer your questions.
So Mansi, one thing I would like to know from you, like in the execution of your workshop, right? So which kind of practicals you will give to the candidates, hence they can get aware about the Python and they can show in their resume.
Yeah, so first of all, for the practice perspective, they will be working on small piece of codes each day. So after every class and even during every class, they will be working on small piece of codes. And to show their expertise, they will be working on three different projects. And these would be beginner, intermediate, and extreme level projects. So they will be able to showcase those projects in their resumes.
Okay, okay. And after attending your workshop, is it possible that people can show their experience in Python? And if yes, then how much experience they can show?
Uh, Using this, see, basically it will be an extensive course. So it will be equivalent to, let's say, around 6 or 1 years of experience, which you would learn over your career. So it will be equivalent to that much experience, because you will be working on so much of coding exercises and projects that you will be comfortable with the language to that much extent. So you will be equivalent to someone who already has a 6 months or 1 years of experience in Python.
And
Yeah.
what is the duration of the course, Mansi?
So the duration of the course would be around 2 months, considering we are taking only weekend classes, because most of the people who are already working, and it would be comfortable for them to take the classes during weekends. So it will be around 2 months. And yeah.
Will we have online classes for this?
Yeah, classes would be online.
Oh, okay.
Anjul, Sridhar, Mohsin, Kubra, Raj, any question, any doubt?
Yeah, that's it from my end, Nitish. Yeah, thanks.
What will be the fees for the workshop?
Okay, so Kubra, we will come on that point. But guys, I just would like to understand from your perspective how you are planning to grow yourself in Python, and what is your career expectation after doing this workshop? Honestly speaking, Python, you know very well that it is increasing in the market, and so much openings are coming. But how you guys are planning? What is your thought process here?
Uh,
Raj, Mohsin, or Kubra, or Sridhar, or Anjal?
yeah, actually, I want to contribute about your question.
Yeah, please.
Uh, if we learn Python, there is a many way to learn. I mean, if you're talking about the automation, so we can go for the automation side. If actually in my company, they require a very extensive persons who have very good experience in Python. So they need the Python developer. Uh, we can go for the data analytics or data scientist part also. But here I just want to ask a question from Mansi. After completion of this workshop of 2 months, uh, I mean, what will be the next opportunity to grab? I mean, it is not possible just to mention, mention a line whether you have a good knowledge of Python or you have a that much of knowledge of Python. I think this is not practically, possible for the candidate to justify himself. So, what will be the next beneficiary step for us? I mean,
Okay. So, first of all, what you would have to define in your mind is what you want to take up next. And for the Python itself, what we would be doing is we would be again providing you certain interview questions and different preparatory materials so that you could prepare yourself for interviews and justify your knowledge. Secondly, once you define that you want to get into, let's say, data analytics or web development or automation, then based on that specific field, you can learn a little bit more and explore more. Because let's say if you want to get into web development and automation, then you can read about that. And again, we would be covering a lot, and that would be beneficial for that particular learning. So it will be sufficient for showing as a web development and automation. If you want to get into web development, then you can maybe go for Django and Flask further. We would be taking up a part of web development also, but on top of it, you will have to learn uh, Django and Flask, either one of those, whichever you feel. Then, talking about, let's say, data analytics. So we will be covering NumPy, pandas, and numerical and visual analysis, right? So on top of that, you can that is kind of almost sufficient for data analytics from my perspective. So you can explore a little more on the numerical and visual analysis side. Then let's say if you want to get into machine learning, then in that case you already have base for analytics. So you have to do certain data preparations for that. So you already have a base which would be created using NumPy and pandas. On top of that, you can start maybe connect with me and I will let you know where you can go towards for machine learning and certain APIs. So you can explore those further. So based on what you want to get into, we can have certain guidelines provided or certain discussions so that it would be easier for you.
Okay, got it.
Uh, so, Mansi, I have some doubts.
Yeah.
Mansi, basically, I'm looking for display automation. Okay, what I'm not seeing anything you are going to cover here about display automation. Like the thing is, I'm validating graphics drivers with different displays. Okay, so I need to automate those things. Like if I'm installing the driver, why would I install the driver manually? I can install it using some Python script. So what all the libraries or modules should I go for those things?
Okay, so from the perspective of display automation, what we can do is we can suggest you a few libraries, and you can try to understand those libraries. Again, these different libraries are completely dependent on what you are trying to achieve, right? So we can suggest
Right.
you few libraries and you can use those libraries. So from each and everyone's perspective, because everyone would be working in different domains, so
Yeah.
the first thing which they would need would be a base, which would be Python. And on top of that, you can use different libraries. I'll tell you how to explore different libraries and how to use different packages, so that even if like in future you want to use something else and you're not really sure how to do that, you will be enabled to do that particular thing.
So we can get support from your end. Like if we are doing something and like we need some help, so can we contact you later after finishing this course?
Yeah, so during the course itself, I will be providing you that much confidence that you won't really need to come back to me. And anyhow, you can come back to me, but you won't really need to come back because I'll enable you that you will be able to do that yourself. So The thing is to learn in such a way that you don't really need to rely on anyone. You will be able to do it yourself. That's what we are trying to do through this entire course.
All right. Thank you.
Anyone else has any questions?
Mansi, I mean, can I know your background?
Yeah, yeah, Anjul, sure. So just a moment. Pavan, you have just joined. So can I listen from your side? What is your years of experience, and are you from a development or from a QA background? Pavan, can you hear me?
Hi, this is Pawan.
Hey, Pavan.
Yeah, I have overall experience of more than 8 years, and it is into software testing. I'm into manual testing right now. So just wanted to get some exposure or some kind of knowledge and understanding on, automation testing related with Python specifically. So yeah, I'm here just for that.
Okay. So Pavan, I have pinged you individual because we are about to finish this demo. So I will share the link with you, the recording, which you can watch. But yes, if you have any query, then you can ask. And Anjul, you have one query also, so that you can ask also.
Will the link be shared with all of us at all?
Sorry.
Will the link be shared with all of us, the one that just did the demo, so we can have a look at it again?
Yeah, yeah, I will.
Yes, Raj will be sharing. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
I will. Raj, I will share in the group as well as because Pavan, I'm not sure if he is added in the same group. So that's why I have asked his number separately. I will share the link with him and add him in the group.
Also, quick one with this training and that. Is it classroom based training?
No, Pawan, you are based out of UK, right? So,
That's what I wanted to ask because it's a bit difficult. If it's classroom based, then it's going to be very difficult. I got no chance in because wouldn't
yeah.
be worth me coming all the way. It'd be too costly for me to come all the way to India just for learning that.
No, no, this will be online session only, Raj.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
Raj will be taking classes on the weekends, Saturdays
Okay,
and Sundays.
okay, that's
Yeah.
fine.
Any other question?
Yeah, Anjul, you have asked some questions, so please can you ask again?
Yeah, I was just general question about the Mansi. Can we know the background of Mansi about the Python?
Yeah, so I have around 10 years of experience, and I've been working as a data scientist recently. So for past 5 years, I've been working as a data scientist, and I have also been training for over 5 years to even like college students, corporate employees, and I've trained people of around 10 or 12 years of experience who want to move towards Python, data science, and automation.
Okay, thank you.
Pawan, do you have any question?
No, seems like that I have joined really late because I was just looking for something like the link was shared. So at that time I couldn't see it. So just now I have joined up. Probably seems like that you would be sharing the video recording URL. So that would help me. Thank you so much.
So, anyone else has any questions, or if there are like any kind of specific topics you want to include, exclude? So, these kind of things which would be beneficial for you, we can do all those things, because I see most of the people here are trying to learn Python from automation perspective. So I've included more topics from automation perspective, and in case you are interested in, let's say, analytics or machine learning, then we could include those as well, some basic topics for that.
Okay, so Anjul, Sridhar, and Mohsin, Kubra, Pavan, Raj, any question, any doubt, anything?
What will be
No.
the class timing
No,
and
no.
duration?
Yep.
Well, that's a good question, Anjul. So classes will be we prefer usually, like in Refer Me group, we prefer classes in the morning time so that you get your complete day free. But sometimes, like few of us have interview on Saturday or some other engagement, so we just change the timing according to participants or candidates' consent, right? So, but yes, the timing is in the morning. Yes, Neha.
Hello.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like we'll be having a classes on the weekends itself, Saturdays and Sundays, and we'll have a time according to your convenience only. We prefer taking it in the morning, but still if you want to have a class in the evening, we'll schedule it accordingly.
I am asking about the duration of the class. I mean, 1.5 hours, 2 hours.
2 hours. 2 hours. So like total duration is 4 hours. So 2 hours on Saturdays and 2 hours on Sunday. Any other question, Anjal?
No, thank you. I'm done.
Anyone has any other question?
Yeah, I have if we miss some classes due to some reason, so can we get recordings later, or how can we cover those topics?
Yes, yes, Mohsin. So that's a very good question you have asked. So we share the recording after each session. So every day, once the class will finish, we share the recording. And in case if you miss the class, then you have to let us know in advance. So hence we can plan accordingly.
Okay. So,
Okay. So Sneha, you can share
Mm,
the key part. Then I hope
yeah.
now we can finish.
Okay. So the course fee is 15,000 rupees, and we are giving 10% discount for to the early bird registrations, and we are also providing referral amount as 1,000 rupees.
So, on a frank note, I just want to know. I mean, who wants to join the workshop? We are comfortable if you are not joining. That's perfectly fine. But we request if you are interested, then please let us know so that we can plan. So, Sridhar, should we consider you in? Sridhar, can you hear?
Hello? Yeah?
Yeah. So, should we consider you in for the workshop?
No, I'll let you know
Okay.
in
Okay.
one.
No
Yeah.
problem. No problem. And Mohsin, what about you?
let you know later in group.
Okay. Okay. And Kubra, what about you?
Morning, sir.
I'll also let you know.
Okay. Perfect. And Raj, what about you?
Yeah, I'll come back to you today.
Okay, okay, perfect, perfect. So thank you so much, guys. I will, me and Sneha will do and close because from tomorrow or after this weekend, we will not take any further nomination for the workshop. Either we have one or two guys, we will start the workshop. That's for sure. It is your decision that you want to join us or not. But even just because this is your money, so this is your decision. But just let you know that Refer Me Group is now 75,000 plus professional group, and we have association with a lot of HRs where we forward our candidates' resume without taking any cost either from HR or from the candidate. And those are given preference in the sense since they have done a workshop with us. Plus, we share the jobs to those guys who have done a workshop with us. So we share the jobs with those guys. And this is a after a workshop we give a support. You can go and check our reviews on Google as well. So this is all about Refer Me Group, and so this is your money. Whether you join anywhere, we don't have any concern. But please invest your money because with very decisive way, multiple times we have seen that people have joined with a trainer or some other institute, but later on they realize after giving the fees they are not getting the quality. So just be aware about those things. Right. So thank you so much, Sridhar. Thank you, Mohsin. Thank you, Kubra. Thank you, Pawan. Thank you, Raj, for joining this session, and appreciate to
Thank you so much.
thank you and appreciate to Mansi for giving us and enlighten us for a Python class.
As always.
Thank you, guys.
News, gaming, chocolate, everything.